That
Make a phone call quick.
okay. Let's take a look. Light armor, brand new sets, 2 new dungeons. Let's see if any of them are any good. Light armor, Magicka, healing done. Magicka increases strength of your damage shields by 13% to targets 15 meters or closer to you, increasing your healing done by 13% to targets more than 15. Wow. Looks like a Barkman special again, dude. The barrier bots continue. Outside of that, I don't know. Healing. Who's trying to heal at 15 meters away, right? But all right. Medium armor. Crit, crit, crit. When you deal crit damage to an enemy, glass shards burst 8 meters around them, dealing physical damage to enemies in the burst and applying sundered. Dealing additional physical damage, applying minor breach for 4 seconds. Okay, decent effects with the minor breach. It's gonna happen every 8 seconds. Let's see what the damage is on that proc. Start got a. Oh, there's actually class changes? Alright, hold your horses. Slow down, one thing at a time. Heavy armor. Health, stam. When you taunt an enemy, gain a stack of broken shards for 5. Up to 5 stacks. You can only gain 1 stack every 1 second. When broken shard ends, you release the stacks in an 8-meter blast, dealing damage to enemies. Hit, applying maim for 3 seconds per stack. So 15 seconds with 5. Wow. It's actually a long maim. Okay. We saw this one on the Discord. We have adds crit chance, monster set. Critically healing yourself or an ally grants you hydro glass damage shield. 2600 damage for 6 seconds. Also gives minor force for 3. No cooldown. Can be spammed with your Maelstrom Resto staff to continue being a clown. Not bad. Alright, here's the other dungeon. Pen, weapon. Dealing damage, summon Cindermoth for 8 seconds. It chases target, searches for a new one within 8 meters if it is slain. The first enemy hit by the Cindermoth causes it to stop and burst after 1 second, dealing flame damage, applying burning to enemies within 8 meters. This probably doesn't work well, but it sounds interesting. No numbers again. Burning effect, though. Medium armor. We got stam recovery, weapon, and pen. Healing yourself or an ally makes you blood hungry for 3 seconds on a medium armor. Dealing direct damage to an enemy makes them bloodied for 3 seconds. Blooded enemies take 4% more damage from and 4% less from blood hungry targets. Healing yourself or an ally makes your target blood hungry. Huh. So this can just stack with everything. So it's like a percent booster. It's it's pretty low. Blood enemies take 4% more damage from and 4% less. Yeah. It's not crazy. It's interesting. It stacks with other stuff. I guess that's good for PvE as well. I mean, it's like an 8% damage difference in a fight, but it actually is pretty decent.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
We might see use.
It could be like a good small manner. But PvE, that's just a flat boost. Alright, heavy armor. Healing taken, max health. Any direct damage 3 times within 5 seconds, you create a 5-meter area for 10 seconds. You and group members who touch the area gain grounding for 15, reducing the cost of roll dodging, increasing block mitigation. Jesus, man. Alright. Generally, low practical in PvP. Block tanks maybe will have. I can see EP's block tanks, dude. Someone's gonna run it. It's coming out. Got the other monster sets, weapon, spell damage, attacking enemy with a fully charged heavy, throws an axe at your enemy, dealing physical damage and reducing their armor for 5 seconds. It's going to happen every 10. The damage and armor reduction scale, if the higher... Is the armor reduction scaling armor reduction?
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
trimmer scale.
Okay. Wonder what the numbers are. It'll be interesting to see. Axe drops to the ground after traveling near your target for 5 seconds. Touching it reduces the cooldown by 5. So you can make it a 5-second cooldown.
I think the PTS guy was wearing it when it was 1,000 penetration or like armor shred. He was in medium armor.
Okay. You have to see it with buffs, how it scales. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a cool set. Yeah, it's interesting. It's not a bad one. Not the bad one at all. If the numbers work too, and the cooldown control, heavy attack stuff, could be interesting for a heavy attacker setup, a brawler. All right, finally, something that relates to PvP. It looks like unified repair kits. The devs have rediscovered that Cyrodiil is actually still standing, and they sent someone in, dude. Unified repair kits. All gear repair kits have been unified. No longer will you receive petty, minor, lesser, common, greater, or grand repair kits. You'll just have equipment repair kits. Additionally, Cyrodiil repair kits have also been unified. You no longer need siege repairs, keep wall masonry, keep door, and so on. Now there's just one. Huge. It's pretty nice. Stackable siege weapons. After 10 years, on the birthday of ESO's 10-year anniversary, we're getting stackable siege weaponry as well. This is huge.
God bless.
New rewards of the worthy as well. Whoa. PvP sets. Let's see what they did this time. We got a light set. Weapon damage. Gain 450 pen against enemies for each major buff they have active. Gain 20 weapon and spell damage against enemies for each minor buff they have. Whoa. That's a lot. That's that could be a lot.
Whoa.
Yeah. We're coming for Barkerman now, and his bullshit. Let him know. Let him know his 28 buffs. I mean, think about that. 20 buffs. That's 9,000 pen, and then there'd be 400 weapon spell damage. Yeah, I have to say that could be interesting. Again, that's not really the problem with killing a ball group guy, though. But anyway, a lot of people have a lot of buffs, even in small mans. So it'd be interesting to see. It's not a bad set, especially considering straight up weapon damage to the others. Very offensive to pair it with that 5-piece bonus. What's up, man? Shadow Man, how you doing, dude? Finally, the game's fixed. Yeah, get ready, dude. Make a full roll dodge group thing using the Black Grove grounding set. I thought about that. You could put on the left-handed Aegis and just have a group that just sits there spinning in the circle with full well-fitted. Yeah, you could mitigate for days. You'd be unstoppable, you know? We have a medium armor set. The Blunted Blades adds armor, max stam, weapon, and spell. When you take direct damage, minor enervation is applied. I think that's what it is applied to your enemy for 4, reducing their crit damage done by 10. This can occur every 5. Increasing your damage done to enemies with it by 6. And this just requires when you take damage. One of my favorites to activate.
Scuffed Black Rose.
Yeah.
Dual wield.
Like, yeah, you know, it kind of is. Very scuffed. On the defensive side. The offensive side, again, better. Yeah. There are so many sets in the game. There's so many little things you can start to match up to just... As there's so much more inflation in raw stats, the percent modifiers keep getting more powerful, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. A group of 12 people roll dodging. It could be a thing, dude. Heavy armor. Bandar's Blessing. We have armor, health. Reduce duration of breakable crowd controls will mobilize and snares on you by 75%. Wow.
What?
Reduce the duration of your breakable crowd control immobilizes and snares by 38. Okay.
I'm gonna build a perma block
75.
tank.
Yeah, 75. Is there anything else that does that effect in the game? I don't think there has been anything that reduces the duration of them. Is there?
Yeah, that sounds
I
new.
feel like there is, but I can't think of it. Especially by that amount. 75% means if you got rid of the last 2 seconds, it would now last 0.5. Like, it'd be pretty short. Now, in the grand scheme of things, if you get CC, generally you want to break it. But I don't know. Like, some that are even long, you wouldn't have to waste the stam. But Rangers is 50%, I think. There is. Oh, okay. That'd be interesting how that pairs up. Grand scheme of it, it's probably not going to be used on a real build. But interesting. The heavy armors usually get the more interesting effects of like, wow, that sounds kind of cool. Anyway, not practical really. It's just too hard to give up a 5-piece set for something that's like kind of cool or something. New Antiquities, necklace, a torque, another torque. The torque of the last Iliad King. Disable all other item set bonuses and increase your damage done by 20%. Reduce your damage taken by 20%. And increase your healing done by 20%. This item set is actively disables any other item set bonuses you have equipped, including other 1-piece bonuses. So no set bonuses. So it's just armor passives? That's
I don't
it?
know about that one.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's not even like 2 monster set 1 piece or druid or trainee or something.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
And then thinking about it on the healer side, 20% damage reduction, 20% more healing. Not worth though, I'd say. There's the support and survival. That's probably not worth. I don't know. Zosword, what is this? What you guys were talking about with the wording? What don't I understand about this? I don't understand. Or someone said the wording. They're confused by it. Seems straightforward. It's useless. Not gonna lie. It's interesting. By itself, where it stands, yeah, it's kind of. Fortunately, there's too many really good sets to warrant that overall. Just doesn't seem to be there. Alright. Yeah, we did make it to class stuff. Hang tight, hang tight. They increased the Undaunted key rewards. Okay? Normal 2 keys. Vet 3 keys. Veteran hard mode 4 keys. Whoa. Bitrock, you're going to be able to carry people for keys
Hell
now,
yeah.
dude. Yeah, it's back in business. Okay. Let's go. We have 2 new homes. New furnishings. New container icons. I don't know what that means. We've got the Westweald Prologue Quest on the PTS. You have the prologue to introduce you to the upcoming chapter coming. The Gold Road. All right. Minimum spec update. Upgrade your computers. Well, let's see what it is. Recommended. At least 8 gigs of RAM. Damn, y'all. Yeah, 4's minimum. Okay. You have to have at least a 970 or above. Or no, that's what they recommend. 560 or above. Frankly, it's more CPU intensive, so that's probably more relevant. All right. Updates to graphic settings presets. Okay. Templates, combat and gameplay. Greetings. Greetings, community. HCD recommended, yeah. Having a hard drive is recommended for the game. A new year is upon us, and a particularly exciting one at that. The 10th anniversary. With it, the combat team has been working diligently at preparing the game for scribing, and this update holds a few of the meteor adjustments and bouncing to prepare for that system. Traditionally, the first update of the year focuses on targeting larger systems with combat itself, as well as more in-depth reworks to additions or existing abilities, items, sets, etc. This will be seen as well. Granted, they might not rock the boat as much as other years, since after 10 years, the boat is pretty huge. Our goals in this update focus mainly on the following: improving the experience of status effects, making damage shields slightly more interactive with major and minor system, improving taunts visibility and readability, targeting some underloved play styles and abilities with shakeups to their functionality and visuals. All right. Where's my boat? We're all on it. Scribing. In case you've missed it, we're getting scribing this year. For more information, ! Scribing. But this is pretty much spellcrafting that was spoke about in the first year of ESO / the beta. It's coming this year. This summer's chapter will have scribing or spellcrafting included. So there's more info on that. And ! Gold Road is the chapter info on Gold Road coming later this year as well. Boom. He's getting choked right now. Yeah, that's because we're reading the patch notes, Plex. DC cares about the future, okay? The Dominion's reaching because they're desperate. They're down bad. And the Pact, I don't even know. Status effects were our main priority, as almost all of them have received new additional functionality changes to help make them feel more diverse from one another. For example, Poisoned has been adjusted to deal execute scaling damage, while Concussed deals bonus damage to recently affected targets. Please see a doctor if you experienced repeated concussions. In addition, all of the direct damage, status effects, Sundered, Overcharged, Concussed, Chilled, and Disease have received significant damage increases to help them compare better to their overtime counterparts. All right, sorry, clear my throat. Of course, with the adjustments to status effects comes plenty of knock-on effects. So we have other changes to abilities, passives, and item sets in tandem. Damage shields will now interact with major and minor vitality and defile to make building around them and countering them more available. Interesting. So they're saying shielding will be affected by, heal buffs and debuffs. Taunt will now display how many times, and that's a pretty significant change for PvE and PvP. Taunt will now display how many times a target has recently been taunted in a buff tray. Taunt immunity now displays unique visual effects to help improve clarity and understanding, and taunt immunity is both harder to experience and less devastating. Moving on, our primary focus on class adjustments this update was on the Sorcerer class, where we've seen a sizable amount of feedback over the years on how the class feels significantly weaker when not using pets. Says who, dude? As well as lacking many support options for group interaction. Okay. And the dog was playing in the background. You're going to hear some squeaky toys. To remedy this, we've reworked a handful of Morph's passives and tweaked a few numbers on abilities. Encase has received numerous improvements to make it more universally applicable. Restraining Prison has been reworked to Vibrant Shroud and is now an area effect burst heal ability that also enfeebles enemies. While Daedric Minefield is now Daedric Refuge, which grants you and allies a damage shield when walking over its area. Dude, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting the current Nightblade treatment where I just run around and just full HP and oh boy,
We need another Nightblade class.
dude. Okay. In addition to this is before scribing. In addition to these bigger reworks, the Expert Summoner passive now offers a dynamic for both pet builds and non-pet builds. Make sure to read more in the Sorcerer section to see all the specific adjustments. Okay. We've also made a big change to one of the more polarizing Necromancer abilities, Blast Bones. Both Blast Bones and the Stalking Blast Bones have been overhauled and renamed to Sacrificial Bones and Gravelord Sacrifice, respectively. Both versions now summon a skeleton that sacrifices themselves to the caster to enhance your necromantic abilities and damage over time effects for a duration. With Gravelord Sacrifice increasing the duration and allowing you to cast a corpse consuming ability on yourself. We specifically did this to reduce the intense demand and complex rotation requirements of the class, as Blast Bones demand on activation once every 3 seconds minimum, making it very difficult to maximize and play around. For those who do enjoy the class's current flow, however, we've made sure to leave Blighted Blast Bones as its original form, albeit slightly cheaper to cast, so you continue summoning skeletons hell-bent on blowing your foes to the hereafter. Okay, Necromancer still needs help. Okay. I hope there's something more going on here, because that ain't it. While the above list of changes are our main focus, we can still expect to see additional balance tweaks, bug fixes, and other miscellaneous adjustments along the way. So please make sure to check out the rest of the patch notes below. We look forward to seeing all the new ideas and feedback come in. So please make sure to provide feedback in the relevant sections. From the team, we wish you all a Happy New Year, a new life festival, and may your journeys lead you to warm sands, and we hope to see you in Tamriel. All right, there's the explanation before we get to it. Let's see it. I don't know. I feel like Necro's not going to be fixed no matter what I read here. All Necros do is convergence bomb. Man, they don't even do that well anymore. Fix an issue where Bash did not scale dynamically with the critical chance stat it used. Thank God. Fix an issue where abilities that offered a passive slot that persisted through bar swap could become lost if you had them on both bars and then removed one. Okay? These are fixes. Fix an issue or knockback abilities where sourced from projectiles such as scatter could cause some NPC positions to become visually desynced from the actual placement. Alright, taunt. I'm going to skip this one, guys. It's a lot of reading. Some taunt changes. Got some status effect changes. Made several adjustments to status effects to ensure they are closer in power to one another rather than clearly favoring damage over time. Status effects like burning, poison, and hemorrhaging. While these effects will likely still remain stronger in terms of total damage production, we've significantly increased the damage from the other status effects in their application. So burning. Reduce the damage of the effect by about 6%. Chill. Increase the damage by about 106%. Concussed. Increase the damage by about 106%. This effect now deals an additional 15% damage to targets that have recently been concussed. Operates the same way as Wall of Elements conditional effects. Disease. Increase the damage on this status effect by 88%. And now also deals an additional damage in a 6-meter radius around the target, applying minor defile to all enemies, up to every 4 seconds. Hemorrhaging. Reduce the damage of this status effect by about 58% per tick. This effect now stacks up to 3 times, increasing its damage by 100% per stack. This will result in a 25% damage increase when it max stacks compared to before, while dealing less damage if you cannot consistently keep the stacks active. As such, the damage now updates dynamically per tick. It no longer applies minor mangle. We have Overcharge. Increase the damage just by 106%. This now also instantly restores Magicka. Poisoned. Reduce the damage of the status effect by 30% per tick. Reduce the duration of 4 down from 6. The damage now is considered execute damage doing up to 100% more bonus to targets under 100% health. As such, the damage now updates dynamically per tick. Sundered increased it by 106%. This now also grants 100 weapon and spell for 4 seconds. For too long have the status effects of burning, poisoned, and hemorrhaging reigned supreme. Alright. We've opted not to enhance Chill's additional effects, as it already has a unique functionality to the frosty ones out there. Okay. Major and minor vitality. Updated these buffs to increase healing received and damage shield strength by 6 and 12%, rather than increasing healing received by 8 and 16. We're opening vitality influence damage shield's effectiveness and hope that it differentiate to buff types for more mending. Blah, 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 blah. So overall, I mean, this will buff shields, but it looks like the numbers are getting knocked down a bit. Net gain if you're chaining barriers, probably. It's not bad, honestly. It's not like we're struggling to heal out there, okay? Charges bis now for PP, yeah? Reduce the dot damage by... Okay. Okay. Major and minor vitality, same thing. Same thing. Gonna affect shields as well. Reduce the effectiveness to 6 and 12. Okay. Arcanist. Here goes the class changes. What's up, Dan? We have Arcanist. Herald of the Tome, Fate Carver. Laser beams. Reduce the damage done by this ability and its morphs by about 7% per tick. Damn.
Uh-oh.
What's happening? Pragmatic Fate Carver. Reduce the potency of the damage shield of this morph by about 16. Fix an issue with the damage. Do not have a max health limit like other shields. Now that the Arcanist has been out for over half a year, we're utilizing a lot of the data we're seeing to make cautious adjustments to the class. Our goals are to slightly peel back the ease of damage production the class has, in hopes to incentivize slightly more complex rotations to regain the damage. Slightly more complex than laser beam. Good luck, dude.
At least as long as it's less slightly complex than blast bones.
Yeah. Yeah. Every 3 seconds, dude. Reduce the passive increase status effects to 55%, down from 75 to make up for status effects buff. Okay. We have the Imperfect Ring, increase the radius of disabilities. Fulminating Rune morph to 6 meters, up from 5. It's a better match to visual effects. Rune Break synergy in all versions now also 6, up from 5. Wow. Great synergy. Rune Displacement increased the radius of this morph to 10 meters, up from 10. Okay. We have Curative Rune Forms. Passage between worlds morph. Fix an issue where this morph synergy could be activated in some situations. It should not have. Wow. Okay. Fix an issue where the buffs granted by this ability would be removed from the allies the caster or the ability died. Okay. Alright, that's it. So not much changing for Arcanist. A slight tone back on the beam now that they've had 6 months to collect beam data. They said 7%. There it is. That's exactly right, Willie. They just needed the data to properly balance the beam. Yeah. Sometimes you need to collect a lot of data from a lot of beams across the mega server. And when you get the data and you analyze it over a long period of time, you can make the appropriate change necessary. Okay? Thank you for your patience. Dragonknight. Ardent Flame, Combustion. This passive now increases your damage done with burning and poison by 20 and 40%, up from 16 and 33%. This passive now grants 100 magicka and stamina whenever you apply burning or poisoned, rather than granting magicka for burning and stamina for poisoned. So it gives you 100 magic and stamina whenever you apply burning or poison. So that's actually pretty damn nice for combustion. You used to be wanting to double dip, like it's gonna be real easy to constantly activate this passive. A little more ease of sustain on the Dragonknight. This passive has been reinforcing some restrictive morph engagement with Dragonknights who are trying to efficiently use it to its full power. This passive should now be much simpler to understand and utilize and impose less restrictions while also being less demanding on server performance. Dude, get out of my face with that server performance comment. There's ball groups running out there. You know what to do. How dare you?
Fix the Dragonknights. That'll suck.
Yeah. Yeah, we've changed, you know, the DKs aren't going to be running poison and fire now. Should help with the performance. How dare you? Don't insult me. Come on. Fiery Breath. Engulfing Flames. This more is flame damage. Taking debuff now scales to the highest of your offensive stat. Rather than addition to your weapon and spell damage, this will make the maximum value. Harder to reach for non-damage dealers overall, while remaining relatively unchanged for the most damage-oriented builds. Are you okay, dog? Draconic Power, Dragon Leap. Fix an issue where this ultimate and its morphs knockback and stun effects could fail to animate properly on targets. Okay. Earthen Heart, Molten Whips, or Molten Weapons. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs visual effects could appear to engulf your companions. Okay. Necromancer. Okay, so that's it. Not much on the DK. Very little movement. Okay. Some performance improvements, but very little movement. So, not much here. Not too much with the Arcanist. Little tap on the beam. You know. Amazing synergy, still amazing. Not much else. Necromancer. Thank God, because the Necromancer's been struggling. It's been a tough time since the Harmony rework for those Necromancers out there. Okay? Gravelord Blastbones. Reworked this ability and its Stalking Blastbones morph. Renamed this ability to Sacrificial Bones. This ability and Stalking Blastbones morph, which has also been renamed, now summon a skeleton that, after their formation delay, jump to their owner to infuse them with the power by 10 seconds, increasing your damage done with the Gravelord and damage and dots by 15%. Okay. So it summons a skeleton that, after the formation delay, jump to their owner and infuse the owner with power for 10 seconds. So basically, you can use this every 10 seconds, and it just buffs your dot power for 15%. That's like an Arcanist passive. You know?
Yeah. And that was like their hardest hitting skill.
Yeah, because I don't understand. I don't know. And PvE might be different. You could tell me. Maybe they can make up for that in PvE.
They're dead on PvE.
Yeah, because like they still needed blast bones. They worked dots with blast bones. So I don't. I get where it's going, but like to give up blast bones, that's like giving up shocks on Warden, right? It's like giving up beam on your Arcanist. If you're giving up your main thing to buff your damage, it shouldn't be. I'm not like that's literally like. Doesn't the Arcanist have like a 15% damage dot passive? Like it's literally like a passive on a class. That's got to be more ferocious than that. Whatever happened to Kiss Curses, Gilliam? Whatever happened to creativity? Okay? Infuse yourself with the power of Gilliam's strength, allowing you to do, 20% more damage, but take 30% more. All right? You can hire me to consult, Gilliam. I can spitball all day, dude. But what is this? What's going on here? This is way too conservative. I don't know what's going on. These abilities no longer require a target to activate, but instead require you to be in combat. No problem with that in Cyrodiil. Stalking Blastbones morph. Rename this morph to Gravelord Sacrifice. This morph extends the duration of bonus to 20 seconds, increasing the damage done effect to 20%. And allows your next corpse consuming ability to treat you as a corpse. Your next corpse consuming ability will treat you. Okay, so you can get an extra corpse. Blighted Blastbones. This morphs Can you like tether yourself with the heel and it connects you to you? I don't know, dude. Is it
That's
become
what
a
it sounds
belt?
like.
I could do a little like a beam belt, just wrap it around me. You can suck your own bones out. That's right. Yeah. Did you go through Plar yet? I haven't. It's for status effects, not just dots. I hear you. I mean, maybe it's good, dude. I'm not a master of the numbers now, but I really don't think it is. Like Blast Bones, I don't know about for PvE. Bitrock's pretty good on the PvE side. He doesn't think it'd be great. I can tell you on the PvP side, that's not it.
Hell
If,
yeah, no. The blast bonus accounts for like 20% of a necro's damage. They should have put this ability on the skeletal mage necro pet. That would have been really strong.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Blighted Blast Bones morph. This morph's overall functionality remains the same. Original design reduced the base cost of the morph to 1836 down from 2295, so it's easier for non-stamina focused builds to sustain. Okay. That one's like, so they can use that and they can use it cheaper, but like they're still not great in PvP because this is all kind of irrelevant to them. They still have this, but a cheaper version. Known issue: sacrificial blast bones. The Gravelord sacrifice morph may still report their original name for combat logging API. Okay, I don't care. Death Knell. Increase this passive's crit chance to 5 and 10% per ability slotted while meeting its conditions, up from 4 to 8. Okay. Shocking Siphon. Fix an issue where this ability and its morph damage were not properly creating their AoEs around corpses they were targeted on. Okay. Alright. And then Living Death. Reanimate. Animate Blast Bones morph. This morph not only spawns Blighted Blast Bones rather than spawning a version of the ability you've morphed, as there is little benefit from having multiple skeletons activate from Sacrificial Bones or Gravelords. Alright. So that's it. That's really it. I mean, not much movement on Necro. The Necromancers are once again asking for your help, Zenimax. I think they need help. Okay? I just... You know, I actually have enjoyed the times I've played Necro too. And they actually have really good skills. It's not like it needs an overhaul, but like... it's not like... great. It really isn't. Compared to some other things, it's just like so much hinged on harmony, and it was such a one-dimensional thing that got gutted before Arcanist came in because of the new synergy, and like they just haven't regained their place in the world. So I know you're a dog. Okay. Nightblade. Assassination. Deathstroke. In cap. Increase the damage done of the enhanced version of this ultimate by 10%. And extend the duration effects by 12, up from 8. This ultimate no longer grants re for slotting. What the fuck? To help differentiate them, these morphs more, we're moving away from both of them granting a passive and active effect, and instead splitting them up, so all of us will now focus more on its passive effect of printing ultimate in high kill count situations, while in cap double down on saving up extra ult for devastating bonuses in the moment of its cast. Jesus Christ, dude. What the fuck is going on? Soul Harvest. This more slotted bonus now persists through bar swap. Yo, y'all gotta watch some PvP at Zenimax. Do you guys see what kills people in Cyrodiil? There's a lot of tanky people, and then there's Nightblades. And they got 2 fucking skills as far as the population's aware of. Okay, they get incapped, and they get hit with a Merciless. That's it! And if you're not dead and you try to kill them, they're running around spamming Cloak while healing themselves to full in 1 click. That's it. I just described an entire player base that's been in Cyrodiil. And I got some developer comment about to help differentiate these morphs. Shut the fuck up, dude. You gotta change something here. It's so one-dimensional. And this is tone deaf. It doesn't make sense. You can't... It's cool you're going to do a Q4 PvP update, but you got to be in tune with some of the things that are really annoying. Like, I read something else up earlier about they're changing something with sorcerers because of all the feedback of people without pets. I don't know what we're talking about, but there's a lot of feedback, for example, on what's going on with people getting shot by Nightblades repeatedly with the same 2 skills. It's just 2 skills. And you're sitting here with a developer comment about why one of them just got buffed by 10% damage. That's half of what your new mythic does. Like, come on, man. You can't just throw these numbers around. This is a joke. I don't know, man. I've never been crazy about Nightblade because of like how it plays with stealth, but right now it's really silly. It really is. And 99% of the Nightblades are not great, and they're still murdering the hell out of people. It just comes down to, is the target they're hitting either 1, so tanky that they're not going to die from a 2-tap combo, at which point they're not really in a healthy build for a MMO environment. When you are needlessly tanky, you basically facilitate a mindset of zerging, or you're just annoying, but you're not really helpful out there. You're really not. You don't want an entire player base in an MMO being overly tanky in fear of a class ganking them. Okay? That's what you're creating by doing shit like this, though. Okay? But all they're hoping is that people just don't CC break in time. Or they don't have enough defense to survive it. That's it. But if you can in-cap and merciless, you can kill most people right off the bat. But that's great. Good. Thanks for differentiating the morphs and adding not interesting gameplay to Cyrodiil. Because if you're going to pump up Cyrodiil, you might as well give it some effort and take away pain points. There are pain points in Cyrodiil. There can be a lot of fun gameplay, and then there's a few outlier pain points. Deal with them. Deal with them head on. Don't just... I don't know who's asking for this. Is there a lot of feedback on the forums about differentiating in-cap from the ult that we're printing ultimate? Brother, when's the last time you printed ultimate? Come on. Okay. Shadow. Veiled Strike. Concealed Weapon Morph. This morph now deals 10% increased damage at all times and deals an additional 10% damage for 15 seconds after leaving stealth. Rather than granting Major Berserk. Why not? Hell yeah, dude. Give him another 10%. Here's another 10%. You in-cap 10%. Did you leave stealth? 10%. Come on, man. This class is something else. This morph's minor expedition and conditional requirements now persist through bar swap. Why shouldn't they, dude? Based on much of the feedback we've been seeing this morph's many iterations, we're moving forward with a bonus that focuses on the ability itself to ensure it offers a stark and effective bonus, rather than a complicated bonus that makes the ability feel more like a management skill. Tell you, man, fighting against... Just streaming out in Cyrodiil is a management role of dodging Nightblades, okay? It's absurd out there. But just keep it coming with these developer comments. Okay, so on Nightblade, these are really out of touch. I don't know what feedback they're reading, and I don't know what environment they're building them for. I really don't. I have no idea. I'd love to know where the data is coming from for this. I don't know.
Helium needs to join the PvP group, man.
Yeah. Gotta get him out. We gotta get him back in Cyrodiil. I know it's been a few years since he's been out there, but we could pull him out there again, all right? I'll be like, listen, you can't play a Nightblade, and you can't play just an overly defensive block tank. I just want you to take a middling roll, you know, and go out there. 2 hours required, okay? And no breaks. Go out there, get on the front line, do some PvP, and just have some fun. And watch the engaging Nightblade gameplay just come up on you. All right. That's the thing, like, I see this shit, and then, like, Necro, like, it's like they're scared to throw something in there for Necro. It's weird. Like, why? Why are you scared to just accidentally overbuff a class that's been dead for 6 months? Be like, whoops, we made it relevant again. My bad. Like, people will probably be more okay with that than more of the same. You know? Siphoning, cripple. Debilitate morph. This morph now increases the chance of applying overcharge status effect to 15% rather than guaranteeing its application each tick. Okay, Siphoning Strikes rework its ability its morphs to be simpler to use while making their resource recovery more engaging. Says who, dude? When activated, the ability will instantly drain 4,000 health and restore 2,000 magicka and stamina. When the ability is slotted on either bar, any damage you deal will heal you for 1250 health, up to once every second. Dude, they're becoming like a sorcerer, is like a dark deal morph of sustained power. Trying to understand this, like, and it's like two things, like, oh yeah, but don't worry, you still will be able to heal for 1250 health every second too. Hey, all right, people don't even use this shit anyway because they're just like one tapping people. But wow, all right, the leeching strikes. This morph now increases the passive healing done to 1800. Whenever the heal activates, it reduces the cost of your next leeching strikes cast by 10%, stacking up to 10 times, which is 100%. All right, let's see this developer comment, dude. The Nightblade class has long been limited in its overall performance. Has it really? According to who? Who's typing this shit up? The Nightblade class
stream,
has long been limited in its overall performance. Gone are the days of limiting the Nightblade's performance. By how well players can utilize light and heavies between each ability, making it very difficult for many players and build types. In an effort to ease back some of this demand, we're moving forward with a rework to their primary sustain tool to be more usable by any build or player, rather than needing to constantly activate the ability to be eligible to heal when you properly weave. It now passively heals you anytime you deal damage, simply for having it slotted. I just love the wording. It's like, listen, you're an asshole. So now it passively heals you anytime you deal damage, simply for having it slotted. Like, you put a comma in there just to be like, we know you're an idiot. We know that you just can't fucking manage to left click. So we're taking care of that for you. Because it's underperforming out there. Okay. The resource portion of the ability is now granted at the base level of the skill, rather than the morphs, and no longer grants the exclusive resources, but comes at a risky cost of health, which we hope the passive healing helps lessen the risk of engaging with. We don't want it to be too hard on you, okay? Can't be too hard. Listen, it's just gonna automatically heal you. Just gotta put it on your bar, okay? Simply for having it slotted.
All those paper Nightblades in Cyrodiil, we heard you. You need more.
Yeah. I need more juice. Additionally, the morphs now focus on the different aspects of the skill, where leeching strikes focuses on raw healing and reducing the risk of activation, while siphoning attacks doubles down on resource recovering by adding a passive recovery option and increasing the rewards of its activation.
So does that mean that if they take siphoning attacks morph, then they don't get the passive healing? It seems like they have to pick between either the healing or the resources now, and that might actually be pretty good.
So let's see. The morph now increases the resource restored to 2,600 mag and stam off the health sacrifice whenever the heal activates. Whenever the heal activates, it also restores 200 magic and stamina. I don't even understand why. That's what it already does, right?
Yeah, I think
You
the
activate it.
morph is either stam or mag plus healing, but now it looks like it's either healing or resources. So maybe that's
Yeah.
a better differentiation. You know, if the resource morph doesn't give you passive healing, then I'll take it. That's not bad. Maybe it makes them worse.
I just don't understand how like Merciless is still happening with Incap, and like it's so straightforward right now. It doesn't even touch on like Nightblade's just simply sitting on the edges and just tapping you with Destro stabs from stealth, and then stealthing, and then just pulsing again, stealth, pulse. There's just so many ways it's not an enjoyable class in the PvP environment for everybody else playing. It's just not enjoyable. You literally have to juice your health up because of them. And I just don't understand. The dev comments seem like it's in a different fucking multiverse or something where this is being delivered from. Like they haven't ever seen what's happening. I don't know where this feedback's from, and I don't know what these changes are intended for. Like, you can have a class with stealth. As much as I'm not crazy about it, you could do it. But, like, I don't know. This ain't it,
It's
man.
not enough.
Yeah, it needs more power. We got to buff it a little more. Kill the Vibe. Thank you for gifting in the Dazzler. Dazzler, welcome back, dude. Let's go. Thanks for that. Spamble gives a major resolve. I know. It's was it really that hard to activate siphoning strikes and light attack? It was. Yeah. For people that aren't proficient enough to left click and light attack, you know, it starts to bring up the forum posts where weaving equals cheating and people are actually hacking. They're actually hacking. You become a hacker in Elder Scrolls Online by light attack weaving on the 10th anniversary. So, okay. But, I don't know, dude. This is not what I want to see with it. I don't even know, man. This actually, like, here's where Nightblade is, and I'm like, can you bring it back a little? They're like, we got you, Chief. We're going to buff some of these things. We need them to really stand out because apparently you didn't know Nightblades can drop some damage. So they're going to keep dropping damage. The thing is, this really affects Cyrodiil as a whole. It affects the PvP scene, okay? So your whole rocking the boat analogy from earlier and that the boat's too big is bullshit, dude, all right? Because the chairs are all moving on the boat, all right? And the Nightblade chair, it's pretty fucking heavy, all right? It's tilting the boat one way, and all the other chairs have to tilt with it, all right? So I need you to take your goddamn Nightblade throne and put it back in the fucking middle of the boat so all the other chairs aren't sliding around with it. This is a joke. It's not as fun out there like this.
Yo, settle down.
Hey, shut up. All right. Mute. We gotta mute Tuggles. Tuggles is gonna Sorcerer, dark magic, in case. Let's keep going. See what they did with Sorc, because apparently there's some stuff happening here. In case, as a Sorcerer player that's made different builds, in case just is not as good as Bombard, and it never has been, functionally. So let's see what they did. In case definitely deserves a rework. But I'm scared now. I'm scared. A little. This ability and its morphs now apply major maimed enemies for 10 seconds. Damn, dude. Right off the bat. Coming in with a hard cross. Listen, new in case here, 10 seconds. Dude, there are sets. You used to be able to get major maim for like 3 or 4 seconds, man. It's crazy now. Hopping into ESO these days. Major maim, 10 seconds. In addition to attempting to immobilize them for 4 seconds still. Rather than only immobilizing enemies for 4 seconds and refunding magic if you failed. Okay. That's right at the start. Reduce the base cost to 4,000, so they knocked it down by about 300. Note the major maim does not require the target to be immobilized to apply. Okay, so it just has to hit him. Okay. Restraining Prison morph. Rename this morph to Vibrant Shroud. This ability now heals allies in the area with the same healing potency of Blessing of Protection, rather than attempting to immobilize enemies. So it turns it into a resto AoE heal. This morph will now continue to apply major maim to enemies in an area for 10 seconds. So it's an AoE that'll heal people, but if there happens to be enemies in that AoE, it'll also debuff them. It will also apply minor vitality to allies who are healed by the ability for 10 seconds. Damn, okay. But that increases the cost to 4860, up from 4,000, which is very expensive. Not as cheap as taking your Resto's staff and just slamming it in the ground repeatedly, following the crown as they give countdown calls. My proxy? You're just sitting there with your Resto staff, pounding it for 3 hours straight. No, this will not replace it. This is very expensive. It packs a lot, though. It's got a lot of utility. It's like, functionally, it could be used as something. You'd have to have a lot of sustain to use that skill. Stop being toxic. I'm not. I feel for the ball group players that have to pound the Blessing of Protection for hours on end. Just pounding their staff. Pounding it. Good for negate plays. The thing is, I mean, this one doesn't root them, right? It is just maim. So it's more, this morph at least is functionally an AoE heal that costs 5k magicka. That's really costly. So I don't know. I mean, and that's not a spammable, like, so I don't know. You know. It wouldn't be. It could be functionally good. I mean, you can pick up minor vitality from it. That the fact that it does minor vitality, major maim, okay. But like the heal for how expensive it is pretty insane. First morph here at least. Thought it was still immobilized. I don't think so. This ability now heals rather than attempting to immobilize. This one doesn't do that, but it'll still debuff. Ball groups need to be addressed as well. I'd be okay with a 200% buff to Nightblade if a group of 20 randoms kill a group of 12 ball group players. Okay. Now, I agree with the first part of your statement, but I hear you. They need to address ball groups. I agree 100%. I'm not bothered more by the Nightblade thing, but organized groups will still organized groups of 12 players should still dominate 20 people, and still would, even if they really gutted ball group mechanics. But there are mechanics of ball groups that don't make sense and need to be addressed. And it's not a bad time to do it. They shouldn't even talk about improving performance or reducing server calculations. These are phrases that no longer should be used by the team unless they wish to address ball groups. I think they're too scared to. Okay? I don't know why. They just don't want to take it on. Unfortunately. They've even tested some of the things they could do to fix it. We are doing patch notes, yes. Okay. Let's keep going. Shattering Prison morph. Rename this morph to Shattering Spines to avoid confusion with the Rune Prison naming convention. This morph's damage now happens after its own distinct effect timer ends, not completes, rather than when the immobilize ends. This will allow the damage to apply to targets that were immune to the immobilize. It will allow them to deal damage every time when cast. Increase the damage done by this morph by about 10% to make up for its delay. What damage are we talking about here? This morph's damage now happens after its own effect timer. So we don't know what the damage is on. Yeah, I think there was one that did damage too, one of the morphs. I don't even know what it was. It's kind of irrelevant. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know where this would be used. PvE, PvP, who knows, dude? I don't know what's going on here. Nobody's using this shit. We're patch noting. We are, yeah. A second Haunting Curse, I don't think it's that kind of damage. And let's see again. The worst damage now happens after its own distinct effect timer ends, not completes, rather than when the immobilize ends. So it is a controlled timer is basically what they're saying. Basically before, here's the thing. You could cast the root, and they could immediately roll dodge out of it, and the damage will happen. They could sit in it for, 3 seconds, and it fades or whatever, and then it goes off. And you get different variances. Now they're basically saying you can control it, kind of like you can control Curse, but I don't know what the damage is like. I don't think it's anything close or like Curse. Now, if it did something like scaling damage on other targets, one of those conditional effects, to be like, hey, this has like a Plague Break mechanic, where every target within 6 meters increases damage by 30%. Okay, now we're cooking. Okay? But this is like, I'm going to change the morph, but I actually don't know how to do anything interesting. Okay? This is like, I read one complaint about this because there's one guy in over every server we have that used this skill and complained about it. And using his feedback, I made this morph. Okay, that's so I don't know. I just don't see the application. You have to understand these are very costly too. It's one of the biggest problems of ever using in case how costly it is. You compare it to something like Bombard that has more depth, better effects, more damage, and can be spammed. Like, there's no contest. Now, this was a good initial start, adding in the maim, and then even the vitality and just taking away the root might functionally make it like a better skill. But remaining as is kind of a root. They should probably have the effect I just said, like a Plague Break mechanic, something like that. And why there aren't more skills in the game like that, to me reeks of, I have never been to Cyrodiil and I don't know how to make skills for Cyrodiil. Because it's a good Cyrodiil mechanic to have things like Plague Break. And not just put things on a set and be like, we're going to make a set, and that one set's going to fix all the problems that people are complaining about. Ball groups, here's a 5-piece set. Surely they won't use it, and it's going to fix all the problems. So it's kind of a concept. Anyway, let's move on. Daedric Summoning. Here we go. I have been Necron, yeah. I might do a little of Unshrouded today. Maybe not, actually. This is taking a while to read. Daedric Summoning, Conjured Ward. This ability in the Hardened Ward morph will now heal you for 15% of your max health, or Magicka, whichever's higher, if no pets were shielded by the abilities. Okay? Regenerative Ward morph. This morph now also heals you for 10% of your max health or Magicka, regardless if a pet was affected by the shield or not. Okay. In an effort to aid the Lone Wolf Sorcerers, we're adding a conditional bonus on this ability that makes up for a power loss if you don't have pets with you, while also trying to make up for some loss if you're not running their primary burst heal with Summon Twilight. We're also improving Regenerative Ward's bonus in hopes it gets more engagement by making a heal a guarantee, but with a reduction in healing so it doesn't overshadow Hardened Ward. Okay. Well, whatever. Who cares? All right, there we go. Not me. I have no comment on that one. Moving on. Daedric Mines. Daedric Minefield morph. Rename this morph to Daedric Refuge. Also, Hockey's been using mines every day in BGs, man. The one lone AD sorcerer who's carried their banner with pride for many years. Let's say they're changing your minds, Hockey. Daedric Refuge. The mines, the ability places are now wards that activate when you or an ally walk over them, granting them a damage shield for 6 seconds rather than activating to deal damage and immobilize. Allies cannot be affected by one of the wards more than once every 2 seconds to prevent situations where a singular ally could take multiple shields immediately. That's what Vin would do. He would roll dodge in a circle pattern and pick them all up in 2 rolls maybe. Good for him. Shield uses higher of your max Magicka or stamina is capped at 43% of the target's max health. Wow. Okay. We'll see how much that actually applies. Let's see the numbers. Is this the one that pops 5 of them, or is it going to be 3 shields? It could be interesting. Could be interesting. I have to see the numbers on it. It's the 5 one, so I wonder if it puts 5 down. Can't believe Daedric Minefield's gone. It's been around for years. Yeah. And it's been used, too. I don't know. We're adjusting this more to be completely new, unique functionality to help sorcerers function more in the support role and gain access to more non-pet related defense tools. We target this morph to rework as engagement between the original morph's heavily favored Daedric Tomb. And this morph naturally allows for the higher target count, where support abilities shine most in. Well, there you have it. Engagement, engagement, engagement. It is the theme of the year. Let's get fucking engaged, boys. All right? Expert Summoner. We're moving on rapidly. This passive increases your max health by 5 and 10% while you have a summoned pet of any kind. God damn it. I hope they change this. I don't want a pet. I don't want a pet on my sorcerer. I want to be a sorcerer that doesn't have a pet. This passive now also increases your max magic and stamina by 5 and 10% while you do not have a summoned pet up of any kind. Let's go. Let's go. We're splitting these passes out to be more adaptive to the different build types to see sorcerer players engage with. Much feedback over the years has noted that playing the class without pets can often feel very limiting and less powerful overall. So we're attempting to add some small bonuses for the lone wolf sorcerers out there. Okay. Lone wolfers rise up. No pets. Storm Calling, Lightning Splash. Increase the radius size of the ability and it's morphs by an additional 2 meters, as they were significantly smaller than other class-based AoEs. No real power justification for doing so. True and real. 2 meters is actually huge. I believe it's 4, right? Might even be 3. It's definitely not 5. But 2 is a lot. I think 2 is going to put it up at 5, somewhere between 5 to 7. In any event, that makes it a decent synergy for PvP. And yeah, this is a passive buff. If you just sork, 4 and 6 meters. Okay. So yeah, not bad, not bad. All right, there you go. There's some sork changes. Nothing crazy. Rework of mines. Some passive buffs here on Expert Summoner. No matter which way you go. Daedric Summoning, who cares? In case, interesting stuff. We'll see about this one. We'll definitely see. This one could have some utility and like a good small man utilizing, I think. Because that's like full uptime on MAME and minor vitality. And in a group that knows what they're doing, like that actually could be something to use. It's just very expensive if you're not Magicka focused. So far, slight adjustments everywhere. The Nightblade feels like just juice. It's just like, here's a little extra juice. Warden, Winter's Embrace, Glacial Presence. Reduce the potency of this passive by 50%. As the chilled status effect receive a huge increase. Overall, it'll result in about a 6% damage increase. Okay, so they made the other changes. This is to bounce out. Sleet Storm, Northern Storm. Increase the damage done by this morph by 50%. Activating the ultimate now grants 50 weapon and spell damage for 5 seconds each tick. Up to a maximum of 9 times. Rather than increasing it flat for 300 for 30. Wait, 30 seconds? It didn't last 30. Did this thing carry longer than the ultimate? Did activating Northern Storm carry for 30? I thought it was just the ultimate timer. Fingers, Templar got nothing. I didn't get to Templar yet. Are we going in alphabetical order? ZMX doesn't even care about your Templars. They're doing fine. They're actually not doing bad right now. They're pretty strong. Alright. Wardens, Templars, Nightblades are feeling pretty good. It's not that the rest are bad. The only one that's really suffering is Necro. But there's certain pain points in certain like the Nightblade offers some really painful points. Warden's like juiced. Okay, there's almost no changes here. This shit went for 30. I don't know how I didn't know this. That shit lasted for 30 seconds. Man, you getting a small man, you getting a large man. Bring your Warden, feel like a god, all right? Not bad solo, amazing in group play. Get 45k health and sacrifice nothing for doing it. It's a great meta for them. Life is good on the Warden. They fit everywhere in the environment. Anyhow, Northern Storm, basically this is more of a ramp-up effect to explain it in short. You'll start with 50 weapon spell damage for 5 seconds each tick, up to a maximum of 9 times. So it's a slow ramp up after you know, you're basically going to hit what your old amount after a bit. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's whatever. Note the duration refreshes each stack like all this effects do. We're shifting the focus of the strength of this ultimate onto something that feels more appropriate for the masters over Bitter Cold, as its previous iteration was relatively passive and underwhelming. Was it? Apparently it was more whelming than I thought because it lasted for 30 seconds. I thought it was up for like 10 when you use the ultimate. And it was very whelming. I was very whelmed by it. I was never underwhelmed by the power of the Warden in my group doing AoE damage while buffing me or choosing to even just slow them more. Do whatever they want, dude. All right? Because I didn't really care because they also had a shocks going at the same time, which was seemingly hitting enemies and lowering is doing minor and major fracture, right? You know, I'm very whelmed. And when shit got really ugly in the group, the damage dealing Warden that was whelming us would press one button and heal me up for about 12k with some ice cube shit. All right, so they're doing good. They're looking great. Thank you, babe. But all right, let's see.
I need to take you upstairs. You need to eat.
Now the ultimate offers more impact in the moments of its activation, with a power ramping effect to help add extra satisfaction and damage to your burst moments. It kind of doesn't, but okay. Like, you have to plan around it. You have to be like, activating Northern Storm, stand by for 20 seconds. Prepare to feel extra satisfaction and damage to your burst moment. Like, it's too much. The timer beyond, like, you know, shock number 2, which you can sync up with detonation. Anything beyond that's a bit long. Okay. So, but whatever. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not like they're hurting this class. So, in a terrible way. So, feel the whelm. I don't know. I'm not trying to nitpick. I just feel like sometimes there's changes and I'm left wondering why. Right? Was there feedback on was there like 17 posts in a Warden thread in a row and they're like, I've been playing my Warden, I go in with Northern Storm and I just need extra satisfaction in my life. You know, I want to feel the power ramp up, you know? I'm the master of Bitter Cold and it's underwhelming. Like, I don't even know where it comes from. Like, where this change happens. Because either way, like, it's fine. But, like, what's the point? Right? What issue are we trying to address with this? They're the questions I'm asking. And some of these changes, I don't get it. Some of them are, like, total miss and feel like, to me, they're just not, like, seeing what I'm seeing and apparently a lot of my community sees. And then some of them I'm just like, I don't, like, okay. Like, this is one of the ones, I don't really care. Like, the class is fine, it's good. But, like, why? And, like, what does this mean? Who said this? Was this just you? Was the development team, like, are they feeling that I'm feeling underwhelmed? And I need extra satisfaction? Because I wasn't on a Warden when I used Northern Storm. I don't know. This might just be a rant of, like, that's kind of aimless, but I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Some of the times I just don't get what I'm reading. I don't understand who's typing it, and I don't know what they're talking about. And I play this game a lot. You know what I'm saying? Anyone feel that way? Just me? I don't know. Is Warden made? Warden feels Warden needs some nerfs. I know. I'm fine with this Northern Storm change. I don't really care. It was strong before. It was stronger than I thought before, actually. It's still going to be good. What are we talking about, though? Like, what actually is this? What is this developer comment? And why are we shifting there? Why are we shifting there? Might be the first question. And then you explain to me the whys, and I say, says who? Because you want to be the masters of bitter cold? I don't get it. So, I guess my point is, it just feels like a wasted cycle. It feels like someone came into work and they're role-playing as a wizard, right? And they just walked in a room by themselves, and they're like, Wardens are the master of bitter cold. Their power will ramp up like the northern storms. Like, what's going on? Why did you change it? Nobody said anything. I don't know what you're doing. There's actually real issues. That's all I'm saying. There's actually stuff that bothers a lot of people. And if you asked all those people, you'd actually see a lot of people say the same thing. You would. There's a few things you could pull out and be like, hey, we're doing a survey on you. You've spent over 15 hours in Cyrodiil this month. Here's a quick survey. What class is bullshit? You know? And give me a little box. And you do something. If you actually want. But I don't know what this is. That's all. I love you guys. I just don't know what's going on sometimes. I don't know. All right, if I'm Rich Lambert, I'm coming into the office, all right? I'm wearing my long pants, my khakis, and I'm kicking doors open. I'm walking into people's offices, and I'm getting in their faces. And I'm going, what are you working on today? What are you working on? What's going on? What are you working on? You know, I want to know what people are doing and be like, why are we working on Sleet Storm today? Why are we working on Sleet Storm? All right? I was just asking what the forum moderators are doing over there, and they're actually constantly moving Nerf Nightblade threads over to the PvP section. Have you been there? Are you reading that section on the forums? Or are you role-playing as a wizard in this fucking corner office? Like, what's going on? I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense. But here we go. Yeah, very intense eye contact. Someone's got to figure out what's going on. What's going on, dude? But anyway, let's move on. I love everybody there. Okay, I really do. I just don't know some of these things. They just don't. They don't resonate with me because I don't understand where it comes from, and I want to. I actually want to understand some of these changes. Some I do. Okay. There's nothing in Templars here, too. All right? My other thing, Happy New Year, started in this. Just put something in here for Templars. All right? Hit them with the old, hey, we reduced the cost of this by 6 mana. Do something, man. The Templars aren't even in here. They're up here. They're looking all up and down. They're like, where's my Templar class? Where's my Templar? And they can't find themselves. You made them feel left out. You actually made them be like, listen, we didn't have time to get to your stupid fucking class, or we just don't give a shit. But either way, there's nothing in here. You guys are actually perfect. Happy New Year. Chill. All right? We'll get you on the next pass. Give them something. Just make something up. Put something in the patch notes and actually don't even do it. And be like, my bad, it's bugged. Just give them something. It's perception. Right? Anyhow, overall, not much on the class changes overall. I'm definitely biased. I was going to say I'm a bit biased. I'm definitely biased with the Nightblade shit. But I feel like their changes are probably some of the most significant. The Necro ones could be. I may not be understanding the numbers entirely on this. And I'm willing to say that I might not know enough about that. Arcanist got a tiny tap. Just a little tap. Nothing much. DK, little more ease of use on sustain. Sorcerer's got some interesting stuff, little buff maybe, and the Warden, I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. I don't know what this is. We have Permafrost too. Reduce the damage done by this morph by 32% to make up for the adjustments of chilled. Okay, so pretty much just tuning on the Warden for the ice changes. That's it. That's it. Moving on. My favorite skill line, by the way. I've given feedback to Zenimax. One of my favorite things is actually Undaunted. Undaunted. We are Undaunted. Not the guys in the bar that give you the bullshit with the terrible voice acting. I'm talking the skill line. I actually enjoy the Undaunted skill line. It encourages teamwork. It encourages team play. And this shit is fun because it's an MMO at the end of the day. And we like to see combos, okay? Because they're fun. They can be interesting. They can be unique. And they encourage teamwork. Unfortunately, they've never really built this skill line out. That would have been my biggest thing I would have liked to have seen done. More synergies. More Undaunted. Honestly, you should open up the Undaunted page, and it should be like 20 skills 10 years into this game. Minimum. Minimum. All right? And they're all synergy skills. They're different ways you can play together with your friends. All right? A million reasons to hire Fangrush as a consultant. Okay? Brought to you by me. I'm telling you, missed opportunities in the Undaunted skill line. Inner Fire. Reduce the costs of this Inner Rage morph 1620 down from 2700. Reduce the damage of this ability in Inner Rage morph by 10% and adjusted their damage type to flame damage rather than magic damage. Fix an issue where activating these abilities would cause your face target, which I don't care, dude. No one cares. What is this? We're cleaning up this ability in some morphs to fit better with their roles and usability by removing some of the older gameplay behaviors with random. I don't care, dude. I'm good. Item traits. Charge. Reduce this trait's increase of applying status effects to 235%, down from 365%, to make up for the large increase in performance of most status effects. There it is. Who was it out there saying charge is going to be juiced? It'll probably still be good, though. But. Ability altering weapon. Stinging slashes. Sets damage. Done bonus. Now scales off 20.925% of the higher of your weapon or spell damage, rather than offer a flat bonus on the items up to 1635. This will result in a damage loss for most builds that are currently engaging with the set. It's the year of engagement, guys. I'm telling you. Any engagers in the chat? We're adjusting this set to no longer grant a flat damage increase for anyone using it. No, for anyone engaging with it. Let's get it clear. So one that is meant to shine for damage-oriented builds. This should significantly lower the pressure and kill potential the set is enabling for tankier builds in PvP while retaining its potency for those who focus on damage over survivability. Yeah. Well, prepare for your engagement to tank stinging slashes abusers. Where's that Destro staff at? Where the hell is it? They fixed the goddamn back bar Destro staff. Fix an issue where they did not update the tool tap soul shred. Okay. Crafted sets. His bark. Fix an issue where this set's effects could persist while not properly meeting its conditionals. Mercolden. Fix an issue where the summoned sword from the set could appear to surf on top of another summoned sword directly underneath it. The invisible being carrying this weapon will now only show one tiny golden sword. Okay. Dungeons and arena sets. Essence Thief. Fix an issue where the multipliers could sometimes remove each other's sigils. Okay. Yada yada. Fate Carver. Fix an issue where the set had a lower chance to apply a status effect than intended. Ooh. The Tormentor set. This now only taunts the first. So this is like we're doing a whole taunt rework. And these are foreshadows. So some of the stuff that we may see in here might not make sense, but it may be foreshadowing in our scribing coming up that we may have reworks of things such as taunts. You guys see how much taunts are being addressed in this? All right, so you're going to get some taunt tools in your scribing. You better believe it. You better believe it. Unleash Terror. Don't care. 2% damage increase. Salvation, don't care. Mantle of Surya, perfected now grants this rather than that. Quests. Okay. Just checking through the rest. Okay, fixing issues. Fix an issue where player pets would despawn. Yes. Animations, group content. Housing. Whoa, a lot of fixes. A lot of housing fixes are in. Quests and zones, the UI. That's it. Engaged. We're getting engaged this year. All right. Overall, not much. And it shouldn't be too much in a Q1, okay? Q1's not supposed to be. It's actually more than I thought it'd be for Q1. That Mythic will probably experience some more changes. The Nightblade will probably receive at least 6 more buffs before live server. And the Necro will likely be nerfed again for no reason. That's what we can expect between today, January 29th, and the live server implementation. Okay? That's the quick summation I got. Any thoughts? Any questions? Any feedback? What do we think? Feel free to engage with me in the chat. I'm not getting engaged. She isn't proven where. Okay. Necroblast mode change feels more like they are taking something away and completely changing it. It's because some people found it complicated to use. Thanks for nothing. At least make the remaining Morse cost be dynamic like Arcanist so it can be Magicka or in macros. That's interesting you said that because, yeah, I noticed that like it's going to be just, and I'm pretty sure it was the Magicka one they're saving, right? So you're just going to have Magicka morph option. I figured they'd at least combine the morphs too, right? The Magicka morph, which is damage done on how far it travels, plus give it the Defile and pack them into one at least. I don't know, man. Why can't we get a better Necro class? No one's playing it, and they have forgotten about you. All right? The other thing it could be is maybe not enough Necros are engaging with them on feedback. All right? So that could help too. Just hopped in. Can you show the Mythic? Boy, we sure can. There it is. The torque of... the torque of no one's going to use it, okay? Because I don't really think it's that good. It disables all item set bonuses. So you can just wear that thing instead and get a flat 20% damage done, 20% less damage taken, and 20% more healing. All right, maybe good for a Nightblade dueler. That's it. Okay, I don't really know. I mean, 20's a lot, but like, I don't know. Maybe for dueling, dude. Okay, because you can do 20% more, 20% less. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, bang, bang. I'm actually switching mains from Plar to Nightblade, and I have no shame. Yeah. They help the Necro? Not really. They gave you a new morph, but I don't know how it'll... I really don't believe in it. I don't think it's going to be that great right now. The way they are dumbing down the game in general where players don't need to worry about light attacking is sicking, TBH, dumbing down the entire gameplay. Yes. Well, that's so you can spend more time engaging with the gameplay, Oko. And less time weaving your light attacks. Okay. Defile's also nerfed on it. Yeah, that's what I mean. You're not getting that on the blast bones. Okay, DK Corrosive easy. Yeah, that would be good with DK Corrosive. That's true. I could see that. Okay. Yeah. And then give me a couple buffers at a party to give me buffs. You know what I'm saying? You can buff me, and I just won't have VD, and then I can have all the buffs in the world, pop corrosive, all right? And then we're going to start ripping them for 20% more, baby. The next change will only be good for Colossus and PvP. Oh, I guess that counts. You mean on the ultimate, the new morph? You mean? They spend too much time on MMO subreddit and see people complain about combat being non-immersive, so they decide to make it dumb instead. Yeah, I don't know. I at least look forward to the fact that scribing should be interesting. I don't expect it to be balanced. All right, gone is the age of balancing. What I do expect, and I hope for, and I strive to try to communicate is like I like to hop in and do PvP still as a PvPer. There are pain points in PvP. I didn't sit here and rant about ball groups. I do it plenty. But ball groups should be the number one concern for them to fix in Cyrodiil. And by fix, I mean really just knock down. You don't have to sit here and try to... You're not going to like remove... Grouping's part of Cyrodiil, right? Groups should exist. Organized grouping should exist. Random pug grouping should exist. The way it works right now, not great. All right? And there are some pain points. There are ways to help assist it. The way Nightblade just runs around right now, not great. Any new player that jumps in the game will get smoked 99 out of 100 times at least. Do you understand? At least 99 out of 100 times a Nightblade will smoke any remotely new player. Lights out. And they won't even see it coming. You're not going to be like, oh, cool, that was an assassin. Wow. Because it's going to fucking happen to him again in 2 minutes. They're going to respawn at the keep and be like, well, I guess I'll try again. And that dude's going to be like, there's my bitch. I'm going to do it again. And they don't even see it coming. They can't react. They can't. They don't know. They don't know what to do. So they're like, wow, PvP is not for me. Kind of shitty. All right, so the best thing you can do as a developer is take away these things that mess you up, that ruin the environment, that immediately turn people off. Ball groups, stupid, immediate dying shit is going to turn people off. Especially they can't even see it coming. Like, what the fuck? You know? There's nothing to learn for them. There's nothing to learn. And ball groups, overwhelmingly, are not enjoyed by a majority of the player base. And they don't help your performance. They don't help your performance. These are easy things. These are things to focus on. I know they're doing scribe and I know they're doing other stuff, but honestly, most of this stuff I'm seeing, I don't really know, dude. Like, yeah, I could forego this. Apparently, this is a lot of prep work for scribing, though, so we'll probably see more balance adjustments as we move closer to scribing. It'll probably just be focused on scribing. So I don't really try to engage, as they say, to try to better things. But when I see some of the changes to Nightblade, I am left wondering, like, what the hell is the feedback loop here? You know? That part I don't get. Okay. Sometimes feels like Nightblades are the egg and the chicken, the ball groups. People join and run ball groups so they don't get one tap by a Nightblade. It's part of it, yeah. Yeah, people that are tired of dying will try to work towards that. Now, ball groups aren't that easy, but they can be pushed towards it. Like, you have to be paying attention and do stuff. It's just ball grouping is monotonous, too. Even a vet player gets smoked if they land the combo well. Yes, an experienced Nightblade will smoke even veteran players if they don't have the right build. This is true. Your idea about reworking the Undaunted, why haven't they made those skills engaging? I don't know. It's a great opportunity. And it'd be an opportunity for them to introduce content that people engage into doing the dungeons for. I stopped doing the dungeons when I didn't really care about any of the loot coming out of them. It used to be all the sets coming out of dungeons were pretty good. They had high utility, whether it was PvE, PvP, sometimes both. Recently, it's kind of like just... all right, whatever, just going to make up, we're going to mix, it's like they ran out of ideas, and it's like a mix and match, right? Like, oh, this is going to do this much crit damage for that many seconds while applying this debuff for 3 seconds, and it's just, you know, it's just a mix and match of things. And sometimes it's so OP because they got it wrong, because they came into work that day and they didn't have coffee yet. And now the player base is dealing with a set that's broken for 3 months. Like, that's it. That's what's happening out here. You know what I'm saying? Does the Mythic cut out all stats like training? Yes, One Piece sets as well. Yeah. Nightblades aren't top tier PvE, and they're hard for new players to learn parse rotation. PvP was not considered for the changes. I don't disagree. And yet, apparently Nightblades, they're not great for PvP. Or PvE, rather. I know. And you have such a divide in a class, it shows it's not being probably handled that well. That it can pose these very unique problems in PvP while being terrible in PvE. You know what that says to me? We need a fucking rework to put this class in a better place that it's not. It doesn't really make sense, does it? No. No, it doesn't. What's happening? The PvP side is getting stronger. I don't know. Whatever. What are you going to do, dude? So you're surprised at how much was in the Q1 patch was also said they specifically weren't targeting balance in the past two classes. I mean, thinking you mean patches. So now we have to wait with virtually the same meta for another 4 or 5 months. This game's just moving to middling everything, and the meta is boring. Yeah, I mean, a bit. Scribing will probably change things up a bit. Scribing could introduce some really unique stuff to PvP, and it probably will. And there's probably going to be some really broken shit in it, too. There will not be enough time for scribing to be bounced in a public test environment. Just can't. So, it'll move. It'll move with that. But frankly, it might not move much. What I think scribing will do is supplement the current meta. You know? In fact, I find the current meta has people stacking their health so much and stats are so inflated that scribing is just going to supplement that very thing. It's going to allow certain classes to fill in the blanks, and it could be troublesome where the classes that have access to too many % modifiers start filling in the blanks of their classes to be like, well, I could use minor force at all times, and I could use this major buff that my class doesn't have, and then I'd be like X class. I'd have their powers with all the things I have, while still doing 10% extra damage, you know? Because when you start having every buff, having these extra 10% things that they said they were removing specifically from the game so they could balance it better is a bad idea. But hey, why not? You know what? Fuck it. Just throw it down. Do another one. Hit him with another one, dude. Literally 30% I'm seeing in front of me. And like, it just, you know, you're removing Major Berserk? Great. Wait till they get it from somewhere else and do the same thing. These are the things, it just doesn't seem like the foresight's there to appropriately do it. So I don't know, you know. It is what it is. Let's all play Nightblades and smile. We could do that, Barkman. I like your attitude, Barkman. The Toxic Avenger Barkman always has an idea. Health stacking is a core systematic problem. I agree, Lordy. Yeah. I think it's too hard to stop in CP now too. There's too many elements and variables. I think they should scrap CP bouncing. I think they should get rid of the non-CP campaign, move PvP to non-CP. It's always made more sense. There's enough inflation in stats in the game now to just warrant that. To try to bounce on top of the CP know-hows is tough. Move us all to non-CP. Let the inflation settle a little bit because there's so much inflation. Even in non-CP, dude, people are... I go into Battlegrounds. And the Wardens are healing with 50k health. And they're not running out of mana. Like, they're good. You know what I'm saying? There would still be problems in no CP. But with that said, you could sit there and start to analyze it better and start making little changes to be like, this thing needs to be fixed. Okay? These two classes have way too much sustain. Aha, it's because of X and Y. Not because of X and Y when combined with this CP and this CP that's currently bugged for the last 6 months that no one knew about because it was reported in general discussion and immediately buried into the combat section of the forums that nobody's reading because we don't have time to read that shit because we're working on this new feature that's coming out and so on and so on. And it's like a circle of just problems, okay? So you can't really move closer to resolution. Anyway. They need independent PvE and PvP bouncing like every other major MMO. Yeah, they'd pretty much be working with two different games at that point. And frankly, they can't afford to do that because no game developer can. And we're also in the age where everyone's laying off workers because we're in the post-COVID, pre-election phase, and here we are. I mean, there was just people laid off this past week, unfortunately. And those are jobs that don't come back anytime very soon. At least not for the foreseeable future. So it's tough. So yeah, that's unfortunate. That would be great. I'm sure people would love to hire more, but big business is not doing that. So we're not going to have that either. Is this going on YouTube? I mean, maybe I could. Why not? Maybe we should, Barkman. Time is it? Okay. Yeah, it could. I don't think we're gonna do Enshrouded today because this took. I said this. I always say this will be fast. I don't know how long we've been reading patch notes. That's my take. Is there any more questions? I don't think there is. Right? There's no questions. I just got home. Time for Cyrodiil. No way, dude. We dominated the enemy out there, Barkman. They were giving up. This will be a quick one. A tweet from Finn said the Microsoft layoffs didn't affect ZOS, but the threat of layoffs remains. It's going to remain. I thought there was some people laid off at ZeniMax, but I could be wrong. I mean, he'll definitely know better than I. Regardless, feeling it in the industry does not feel good, and the threat does loom. This is just Q1. Like, basically, other people started laying off. Like, Riot did 10%, right? The other companies did some earlier. Twitch laid off 35% of their force few weeks ago. So like once some of them do it, the others reactively are going to do it, right? Because they're trying to posture for, they're going to be compared to their competitors. So if their competitors are laying off people and their numbers look better, their asses need to lay them off too. So frankly, it's just part of what's, it sucks. It really does. And it sucks because these are real people with real jobs, and it fucking sucks because it's a system for a lot of people. The past year and a half has been very terrible for people in tech in general. Gaming's included in tech, and it's been a struggle. People's lives are getting uprooted by all that shit. It sucks. It's very sad. But yeah, we'll put this up on YouTube, and let's continue with more PvP tomorrow. I'm probably doing more Enshrouded tomorrow, I think. Fanger's new game to keep an eye out for, Unforetold.